Hey, what's up, everyone? I want to share a super secret trick with you about creating content, right? Pretty much everyone watching, listening to this, you're like, you know you should be creating more content, but you're just not sure how to do it. And maybe you do it, but it's not consistent. You kind of do it in spurts and then you get busy and it doesn't get done. And it's kind of this this kind of roller coaster of peaks and valleys, right? Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're not. And I'm going to admit, throughout this last several years, I've struggled with consistency as well. We've had periods where, depending on who was on our team, what kind of bandwidth we had, what kind of resources we had, we would create a ton of content. And then maybe something would happen where, we'd get busy or a team member would leave, or we just had a shift in priorities and then we just stopped creating as much content. Right now, I believe that we're in a really good spot as far as our team here at Contractor Dynamics, creating consistent content and really holding ourselves accountable to getting that done and getting that out on a consistent basis. So I want to share with you what's been working for us. I mean, that's the most valuable thing that I can give you is what's been working for us. It's not perfect, but it is a formula that we found that is working really well. So number one is to develop a schedule and hold yourself and hold your team accountable for that. So as I often do, I'm going to reference working out or training for an event like a triathlon or a marathon, right? If we have if we're joining a gym or starting a workout program, or if you've ever trained for a physical event like a marathon, then it's not just about, hey, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do some workouts this week. I'm gonna do some runs this week, all right? I'm gonna see what I can get done. No, you have a schedule, you have a plan. In the case of a marathon, it's usually a 4-month training schedule. You know what you're supposed to do week in and week out, day in and day out for 120 days. If it's a workout program, maybe it's 75 hard, maybe it's a 30-day program, maybe it's just normal training for life and you go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week. Ideally, you've got those days scheduled out before the week starts so you can hold yourself accountable and you can prioritize those things. Right? That's how it works. That's how you get marathon fit. That's how you get fit at the gym. If you're doing a diet, that's how you schedule that out and you do what you got to do. You meal prep. You make sure that you're making those good decisions consistently. So it's the same thing with pretty much anything in life, but it's the same thing with creating content. We don't just kind of say, hey, I want to create more content this year, or I want to create more content this month. We're going to really get after it. Like, yes, we're going to crush it. And then, it doesn't happen if you don't have it scheduled out, if you don't have a plan for that. So the number one thing is that you've got to have a schedule and you've got to hold your team and yourself accountable to that schedule. So your schedule, it could be depending on your business, depending on yourself, depending on what your goals are and where you're currently at with your brand and your content production. It could be once a week. Once a week would be the bare minimum. Any more than that, you're just gonna kind of get lost in your market's gonna forget about you. All right, so once a week is the minimum. Number two, you could have a content schedule that's every single day. You could have a content schedule that's 3 or 4 days a week. You could have a content schedule that's Monday through Friday, the weekdays. You could have an aggressive schedule like we do, where we have a target of posting 15 pieces of content every single day. Now, does that get done every day? Honestly, very rarely, but it's a target that we're working toward, and we have literally a Google sheet where we keep track of every single piece of content that we post, and we can go back to the last 7 days and say, hey, how often did we hit our target? Where were we at? Did we have some days where we're at 3 or 4? Yes. Normally the weekends. Do we have some weekdays where we're only at, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 out of 15? Yes. Do we have days where we hit 15? Yes, we do. We have those days. And we've got to be realistic at this point. We want to be aggressive. We want to be perfect. But we're a small team, just like many of you are. And we're working toward it. Okay, we know what we're working toward. We know where that gap is, and we know what we have to do to get there. So you don't have to go out and produce 15 pieces of content a day. And by the way, it's not like I'm shooting 15 videos a day or writing 15 articles on Facebook every day. It's the Gary Vee content model. It's taking a video like this, and then chunking it down and putting it out as a podcast, putting it on YouTube, putting maybe an image with a quote on Instagram, maybe writing about it on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then repurposing a lot of those things on different platforms. So 15 might sound pretty overwhelming and pretty like, oh man, I can never do that. But when you have different platforms and you're talking about stories and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and different platforms, then it's more attainable. Regardless of whatever we're doing, figure out a schedule that works for you and have that calendar, right? I'll let you in on a little secret. The reason that I'm shooting this video right now and that it's not being edited, we're going to put it out as a one-take wonder, as a raw video, is because it's Wednesday and we've got a publishing schedule on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday. Now, we did have a few videos that I recorded in advance, but our team as a whole, our editing team, is a little backlogged right now, so we did not get those videos edited in time. And I could have said, all right, well, editing's behind, we're not going to get a video out today, and missed our mark. But I want to hold ourselves accountable. I want to hold our team and myself to a higher standard. So this video might not be perfect. It's not going to be polished or highly edited. I made a few, hiccups before, and I probably will before the video is out, but that's okay. We're getting the video out. And that's another part of this, is that by having a content schedule, by sticking to it, by having your team involved, you're holding one another accountable, you're putting out the content, whether it's perfect or not, because it's never going to be perfect. That's the second major point, is that you are sharpening up every time you put out a piece of content. Every time you create a video, every time you write a post on social media, you are getting better, right? You might not get the engagement that you want. You might only get a few likes, a couple comments here and there, and you might be a little bit discouraged. But it's all about getting the reps in. Going back to my metaphor about working out at the gym, training for a marathon, not every run, not every workout is going to be amazing, but you're getting the reps in. And it's not always about having a killer workout that day. It's about the compound effect of showing up day in and day out. And where are you after 4 months? Well, ideally, you're marathon ready. You're ready to run 26.2 miles and achieve your goal. Same thing with content, right? Not every piece of content is going to be amazing. Ideally, you're getting better each time, and you're showing up and you're practicing, and you're putting it out there, and you're seeing what people resonate with. What's getting engagement? What are people messaging you about? What are people saying? Oh yeah, I really like that piece of content. So you're getting that feedback loop from your market. You're getting better over time. And that only happens if you're consistent. If you're only putting out, a couple pieces of content a month or, once a week, it's really hard to get better. Just like if you're going to the gym or you're running, it's really hard to get stronger, to get fitter if you're only going to the gym once a week. But if you've got that schedule, you're going a few days a week, if you're publishing content a few days a week, you are absolutely going to get better over time. You're going to be sharpening up those muscles. So those are my top 2 tips. Number 1, have a content calendar and plan that out. Get your team involved. See what is reasonable. Well, more than reasonable. We don't just want to go for average. See what's a little bit unreasonable and have like a little bit of a stretch goal. So like, what does that publishing schedule for you guys look like? What's the team look like? It doesn't always have to be reliant on the owner. When it's been reliant on me as the owner, it just doesn't get done consistently. We've got a small team here that I'm grateful for, that it enables us to put out some great content. I hope great content. Anyway, get your team involved. Get different people to collaborate on content. Have that calendar. Make sure that you hold yourselves accountable to that. If you miss a day here or there, realize that and see what you can do next time to make sure that you're getting a better score. Kind of gamify it, right? So that's number 1, is have that content calendar, be consistent. And number 2 is realize that by showing up and doing the work, you're just going to be getting better and better over time. And the old saying of when is the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Well, when's the best time to start producing content? Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, 10 years ago. But the second best time is right now, today. So think about starting today, where you're going to be in 4 months' time, where you're going to be in a year, where you're going to be in 3 years. Think about the brand that you're going to create. Think about the business building that you're going to do. Think about the impact that you're going to have on people in your market, in your feed, in your world. And then think about how much you're going to sharpen your skills over time. So it's not about crushing every day and winning every day and have an award-winning piece of content every day. It's about the compound effect of showing up and doing the work every single time. Whether it's every day, whether it's every other day, every week, whatever it is, that's up to you. So that's what's been working for us. I feel like we're in a really good rhythm right here at Contractor Dynamics. And although I have a really busy day today, I wanted to take time out to record this video. It's going to be up on YouTube within an hour with our team's help, and we are going to stick to our schedule, whether this is a polished video or not. So I hope that was valuable to you. Let me know in the comments, send me a message if you got any questions on how to implement this, how to develop a content calendar, how to actually implement this. I want to help. So drop a comment below, and I'll talk to you soon.